You are lying on the cold marble floor of your own lobby. There is a gun pressed against the base of your skull. Your hands are zip-tied tightly behind your back, the plastic biting into your wrists. Security alarms are completely silent. The man holding the weapon above you is trembling. You can hear his ragged breathing. You turn your head slightly, tasting copper from the blood pooling in your cheek, and you whisper into the dark, "You have 3 minutes before the silent relay trips. Hit me again, harder this time. They have to believe I fought back." The man hesitates, then drives the butt of the rifle into your ribs. You gasp, the air rushing from your lungs. It is agonizing. It is perfect. You are the branch manager, and everything is going exactly according to your plan. You are 48 years old, and you have given this building 14 years of your life. You know the architecture of this bank better than you know your own home. You know that the air conditioning kicks on at 6 a.m., smelling faintly of ozone and dust. You know that the third camera in the vestibule has a 2-second latency sweep. You know the exact heavy oiled sound the 3-foot-thick Diebold vault door makes when the time lock disengages. You are the one who oversaw the installation of the new biometric security matrix 2 years ago. You argued with corporate to get the budget for the seismic sensors in the floor. You take pride in this fortress. You are a meticulous, boring, fundamentally reliable man. You wear a gray suit. You arrive at 7:30 a.m. You leave at 6 p.m. You are invisible to the people above you, and an absolute authority to the people below you. You believe in the system. You believe that keeping the money safe is a moral imperative. That belief will take exactly 4 days to completely unravel. It begins on a Tuesday in November. A regional vice president you have never met arrives unannounced. He sits in your plush leather chair, drinks your coffee, and hands you a manila folder. It is a restructuring mandate. Your branch is being absorbed. Your pension, which you have paid into for a decade and a half, is being frozen and converted into a lesser equity stock option. Furthermore, you are ordered to terminate 6 of your staff members by Friday. One of them is a teller who has worked for you for 10 years and just had her second child. You try to argue. You cite the branch's record profits. The vice president looks at you not with anger, but with absolute, terrifying indifference. He uses words like optimization, redundancy, and acceptable collateral. When he leaves, you sit in your office for 3 hours. You look out the glass walls at the people trusting this institution with their lives. You realize, with a sudden, icy clarity, that the bank is not a sanctuary. It is a machine designed to extract wealth and discard the parts that break. You have been guarding the dragon's gold, but you are not the dragon. You are just a disposable lock on the door. Something fundamental shifts in the architecture of your brain. The loyalty evaporates. What replaces it is a cold, calculating anger. You do not decide to rob the bank all at once. It begins as an intellectual exercise, a dark, comforting puzzle you play in your head to fall asleep at night. If I were to break my own system, how would I do it? You start testing the perimeter. You, accidentally, leave a secure terminal logged in during the cleaning crew's shift. Nothing happens. You realize the seismic sensors in the vault have a blind spot exactly 3 feet wide near the ventilation grate. You document a glitch in the silent alarm relay that causes a 40-second delay before notifying the police. But you never file the work order to fix it. You realize that security is an illusion built on the assumption that the people inside the walls want to keep the people outside from getting in. The system has zero defense against the architect. Then comes the catalyst. You receive the schedule for the mutilated currency transfer. Next month, $4.2 million in worn, non-sequential $100 bills will be held in your vault for 24 hours before being shipped to the Federal Reserve for incineration. It is ghost money, untraceable, destined to be burned. The intellectual exercise is over. The blueprint is finished. You cannot do this alone. You need muscle, you need intimidation, and you need a getaway. But you do not go to the criminal underworld. Professionals talk. Professionals have records. Professionals get caught. Instead, you open the locked filing cabinet containing the denied loan applications and foreclosures. You are looking for a specific type of person, desperate, capable, and entirely ruined by this specific bank. You find 3 men. A general contractor whose business went under because the bank pulled his credit line without warning. A mechanic whose home you personally foreclosed on last year. A former EMT drowning in medical debt. You buy a burner phone with cash. You contact them anonymously. You offer them a guaranteed, untraceable $1 million each. You tell them you are the inside man, and you will hand them the keys to the kingdom. They don't need to crack a safe. They don't need to hack a mainframe. They just need to walk in, point guns at you, and carry the heavy bags out. They agree. Desperation is the ultimate compliance tool. You spend the next 3 weeks building your alibi, Piece by meticulous piece, you start seeing a therapist, complaining about severe work-related stress and insomnia. You want a medical record of your deteriorating mental state. You subtly alter the security guard shift rotations so that the newest, most inexperienced guard is on duty the night of the transfer. You write the script for the robbery and force your 3 men to memorize it. They are not to speak to each other. They are to wear full tactical gear, bought with cash across 3 different states. They are to treat you with extreme, believable prejudice. On the night of the heist, you tell your wife you have to stay late to prepare for an audit. You eat a bland sandwich at your desk. You watch the clock tick toward 11 p.m. Your pulse is a steady drum in your ears. You are terrified, but it is not the terror of failure. It is the terror of crossing the event horizon. At exactly 11:14 p.m., you open the loading dock doors from your terminal. The 3 men enter like shadows. They neutralize the young security guard exactly as planned. Swiftly, non-lethally. Then, they come for you. They drag you from your office. They throw you to the marble floor. The cold tile presses against your cheek. You recite the override codes, intentionally stumbling over the numbers to simulate panic. You watch as the massive Diebold door swings open. The air inside the vault is perfectly still. You watch them pack the heavy canvas duffel bags with $4.2 million of dead currency. It takes exactly 4 minutes. Then comes the hardest part. You look up at the contractor, the man whose life this bank destroyed. You tell him to hit you. The rifle butt connects with your ribs. A sickening crack echoes in the empty lobby. White-hot pain floods your nervous system. He zip-ties your hands, tight enough to cut circulation. They leave through the loading dock. You lie in the dark, bleeding on your own floor, listening to the siren of the approaching police cars. You begin to weep. The tears are real, born of physical agony and the massive release of adrenaline. It is an Oscar-winning performance. The aftermath plays out exactly as you engineered it. You are taken to the hospital in an ambulance. You give a traumatized, stuttering statement to the FBI. You pass a polygraph test, largely because when they ask if you know who robbed the bank, you visualize the masked men, not the men from the files. You believe your own lie. The bank offers you a massive settlement, an early medically induced retirement to avoid a lawsuit regarding workplace safety. You take it. You play the broken man perfectly. You spend your days sitting on your back porch, staring at the lawn. Your cut of the money, $1.2 million, is slowly washed through a shell corporation in the Caymans, a system you learned how to exploit by watching the bank's wealthiest clients. But here is the final, brutal truth of the heist. You cannot spend it. You cannot buy a sports car. You cannot buy a mansion. You cannot take sudden, lavish vacations. The FBI monitors the financial health of unsolved bank robbery victims for years. If you change your lifestyle, you become a suspect. So, you live in the same house. You drive the same mid-size sedan. You eat the same food. The money sits in a digital ledger thousands of miles away, completely invisible, entirely useless. You realize, sitting on your porch 5 years later, that you did not steal freedom. You stole a ghost. You successfully transferred your anxiety from the fear of losing your job to the paralyzing daily fear of being caught. Every time a police cruiser drives past your house, your heart skips. Every time the phone rings from an unknown number, your mouth goes dry. You beat the system. You broke the unbreakable vault, and you locked yourself inside it forever.